So game two was more friggin' like it. Tonight's game was a game of rope-a-dope where a much better team beat a team that's not in the Leafs friggin' league. Now, it's like I said in the first game, if Carey Price doesn't show up, which he did in the first game and save Montreal's bacon, Montreal's not going to win. And that's what happened tonight. Price couldn't bail them out. The Leafs win 5-1. Tonight's game was a much different scenario compared to game one. Game one, they had the kind of lull after the Tavares injury where Montreal got on the board and got out to a 1-0 lead, and then the Leafs caught up and were the better team before the Tavares injury, and then from the end of the first period after they recovered from that onwards. But they just couldn't crack Price, and that's kind of the way it went. And their power play didn't score, whatever. They gave up a shorty. Tonight was the complete opposite of that. Now, the one caveat to that is that I find the Leafs, whether they're at home or on the road, the first 5 to 10 minutes can be. I don't know if they just need to catch. It's not like they're bad at the very start of the game, but they don't seem to have their legs all the time when they start a game, and they get better as the game goes on, and the pace picks up as the game goes on. So I find they always have to weather that first 5 or 10 minutes until they can get engaged fully in the game. And tonight was another one of those scenarios. I thought they were a little bit slow to start, and within those first 10 minutes, Montreal got on the board 7 or 8 minutes in. Kotkaniemi, it doesn't matter, who cares? And they were down 1-0, but then the Leafs started coming, and it just snowballed from there onwards. Spezza drew the Leafs even towards the end of the first at the 12 or minute mark, 13 minute mark. The Leafs have been pressing in the zone a bit, and they put a couple shots towards the net, but they went wide and came out the other side a couple times. And the one time it did that is it came out, it went behind the net on Price's right, bounced out to the left, and Simmons was just sitting there waiting for it. And until Spezza kind of came in right in front of him and took the puck and then wristed it home short side on Price. And Kelly Rudy at the break was talking about how, if that puck had just gone to Simmons and he'd ripped it, Price probably would have had the shot. It was the fact that Spezza came in at the last second and brought the puck to kind of a different spot on the ice, which changed the angle of shooting opportunities, right? Which he thinks is what kind of threw Price off on that. But either way, 1-1. And the second period is where things kind of just continued to just snowball. And the Leafs had 3 or 4... I think they had 3 power plays in a row with Montreal taking some penalties. And their power play finally woke up. It was Matthews that got the Leafs on the board first in the second period. This wasn't a power play goal, but it was I think a 2-on-1 or something like that with Hall and Matthews. And Matthews gave it to Hall going down the right side. He just put a wrist shot on net. That hit Price in the pads. A rebound came out, and Matthews was right in front of Price and just tapped it in. A really quick decision and quick reaction to get his stick on that puck and get it in, but he did it, and it was 2-1 Leafs. And then, like I said, the Leafs had all these power plays in the second period, and they were able to make good on one of them with Sandin getting his first ever playoff goal. And it was the Leafs were messing around in the zone, and somebody down low put the puck back to the point, and Sandin just stepped into a one-timer and blasted it kind of that awkward spot under the goalie's blocker side in his body. And things got really, really strange here. The Leafs had either 2 or 3 penalties or power plays in a row up to that point, and on this goal by Sandin, Thornton was in front trying to provide a screen or get a tip or something like that, and when he was trying to get his stick on the puck, he just kind of tapped Price's pad. Didn't push him or anything, or didn't hook a glove or a blocker, and really had no outcome on the play at all. But for some reason, I don't know if the Habs were smoking something in the room before the second period, but they decided to challenge this goal for goalie interference, and it took them forever to review it and decide that, oh no, it's a fucking goal. Like, what are you guys talking about, right? It's just such a bizarre call. Which if you lose a timeout or whatever, so be it. But you get another penalty if you're wrong on a challenge like that. So the Leafs went to another power play after the Habs chose to challenge this goal, which they had no chance on winning. I shouldn't say no chance because I've seen some pretty stupid stuff happen with the NHL, but it was obvious that nothing happened, and the goal counted, and there go the Leafs to another power play, right? So, and it looked like the decision to challenge the goal came from up in the press box where the Bergevin and the GM and all the executive guys were sitting, and you can see him on the TV going, "Oh yeah, stick! Oh yeah, let's challenge that!" Right? It's like, what are you guys are fucking high? Bergevin's a weirdo. Like, you see some of the suits he wears and some of the stuff he does, right? And so it didn't surprise me that it wasn't the coach that was behind this, but him, right? So thanks for the power play opportunity, right? It was just so, I've never seen anything quite like it. So goal counted, Leafs are suddenly up 3-1. Third period starts, Leafs get on the board maybe 5 minutes in. I don't remember the timing of all the goals. There's so many of them. And this time, who got it? Oh, Willie got it. And this was another power play goal, so their power play went 2 for 6, so that's encouraging. It was another Matthews shot from the right side that hit a post, just like the last game, right? Rebound came flying out to Nylander. He settled the puck down for a half a second before ripping it over Price, who was kind of doing the pad roll and sticking anything up there to try and get a body part on it, but it went in, and the Habs would pull Price with over 6 minutes to go, and the Habs just couldn't really penetrate the Leafs D, and they kept turning them back, and eventually Kerfoot was able to add an empty netter, which made the final score 5-1. So a number of things in this game, like I said, with Tavares out, and Tavares, fortunately, it's like I kind of thought. There was no, with him trying to get up and move around, I was pretty sure most things were fine. And they said, yeah, there was no structural damage to his head, neck, spine, or anything like that. He's got a concussion. So that was kind of the thing that it was like, if he does, if he doesn't, he should be back soon. But he's obviously not going to be back soon. So, but it's good that it's just a concussion and not anything more serious than that. Not that concussions are good, but it could have been a lot worse. And he's also got some sort of a knee injury from it too. So, but that's not the worrisome part. It's the head that is, right? So, so everything there turned out, as about as well as you thought it could. So with Tavares out, Galchenyuk drew into the lineup, and so did Engvall. And for the life of me, I'm trying to think who came out of the lineup to get the 2 guys in there over, because it's just Tavares that I knew of that went out, but obviously somebody else didn't. I just can't think of who it is at this moment. But yeah, so those 2 guys were in the lineup, and they both played really well. Galchenyuk has been a bulldog all year since they signed him. And he's speedy, he's feisty, and he makes good decisions for the most part. So he had a really good game. Engvall on that line with Big Mick and Kerfoot, they had a really strong game, I thought. The speed and size of that line always seems to get the Leafs going when they might have a bit of a lull. I really like they really seem to kickstart that team. If the top line or the top 2 lines aren't going, and things are kind of slowing down and the Leafs aren't getting much done, that line always seems to be a bit of a catalyst for the Leafs. They always seem to go out there and just have a really good speed, energy shift, and that kind of helps the Leafs build and get going a bit. So I thought those 2 guys played really well. The vets all had really good games. Thornton, Spezza, and Simmons were all involved. Spezza obviously got the goal. Thornton and Simmons didn't get any goals, but they were involved physically, causing a bit of problems here and there. Foligno went to center on the second line, centering Nylander and Galchenyuk, so that was a bit of an adjustment there. And yeah, overall, the Leafs just had a really strong game. The power play, like I said, went 2 for 6, which was a big turnaround. The Leafs weren't really good on faceoffs in the first game, and with Tavares out, that makes it even harder because he's a really good guy on the draw. But tonight they doubled the Habs in faceoff percentage. They outshot them 34-23, something like that. Block shots, Leafs had to block a few more shots, but it was pretty even. And then the hits were a lot more even in this game too. And it's like that Winnipeg series. The Habs were trying to throw everything they had at the Leafs, but the Leafs were just bouncing off, and they would just give it back too. There was a lot more physicality in this game that was initiated by the Leafs, and it was really awesome to see, because Montreal's only weapon against the Leafs is to try and be physical. So once the Leafs are like, okay, we can play that game too if we really want to. We don't normally, but we can. And when the Leafs take that avenue with them, what the hell is Montreal going to do? And that's why you get a 5-1 game, right? And I'm sure Montreal fans are all pissed. I think my son was looking at the comments on something tonight, and the Habs were all pissed. Well, they gave us fucking 4 penalties in a row in the second period, and it's like, well, you took 3 penalties, and then you shot yourself in the foot on the stupid fucking challenge. And they're not crying during the first game when the Leafs took, those 3 puck over the glass penalties in a row, so it's kind of funny. I hate Habs fans. I hate the Habs. I hate their fans. They're fucking whiny bitches. And I know the series is only 1-1, but tonight is more how this series should go as a whole. The first game to me is just kind of a throwaway because of the circumstances around the Tavares thing, which just kind of threw them off. And then Price threw out a really good game. They took all those weird penalties for puck over the glass. It was just one of those games where it's like, what the hell just happened tonight? So you throw that one away. You find out Tavares is doing okay considering everything that happened. You say, let's win this series for fucking Johnny. They go out and they clobber the Habs. And that's the way it should be, because the Leafs are a far, far better team than the Habs. I know not every game is going to be 5-1 like this. Even when you have a really good team playing a team that's not nearly as close to them, in the playoffs, the results seem to shrink. You don't get the blowouts like you do in the regular season. So I don't expect the Leafs to win 3 games in a row now to finish the rest of it off. And I don't expect whatever wins they're going to have to be lopsided like tonight's. It's going to be close right till the series is over, whichever way it goes. But tonight is truly, in my opinion, a good representation of this team versus this team, right? So I'm glad they went out and did that tonight. It should be a good confidence builder after that first game, to show the Leafs that they can play physical. Their power play is still good even though they've had troubles, and they can get it done. So we'll see what happens on I'm assuming they play again on Monday. We'll see in a couple days, soon enough, how Game 3 goes, if they can keep this momentum going. And fingers crossed. Till then.